Breaking Minnesota Vikings news here on this Wednesday morning as they have signed running back Myles Gaskin to the active roster. Myles Gaskin was released yesterday by the Miami Dolphins and now is signing today with the Vikings active roster per his agent. And then obviously Ryan Matha confirmed the deal. Gaskin will actually be reuniting with his former head coach, Brian Flores. They actually had some time together in Miami. But kind of a shocker here because the Vikings did end up releasing 7th round rookie Dwayne McBride yesterday, which kind of came to a shocker for me personally. But looks like they're going to fill that spot with Myles Gaskin. And guys, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button. We're going to have a video out later today kind of breaking down some other names the Vikings could potentially bring in, such as maybe a Duke Shelley, who was released by the Las Vegas Raiders. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay in the loop. There's going to be another video coming out later today around your Minnesota Vikings, with the practice squad, like all of that. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay in the loop, and we'll keep you updated. But Myles Gaskin, the newest member of the Minnesota Vikings, running back, he did end up signing with them this morning. Last year, he was in and out of the lineup with obviously injuries. He only actually ended up accumulating about 26 yards. But the year before that was when he probably got the most carries, but the production wasn't really there. The 2021 season, he had 171 carries, 612 yards with 3.5 yards per carry with 3 touchdowns on top of that. In the 2020 season, he had 142 carries, 584 yards for 4.1 yards per carry. Also had 7 touchdowns that year as well. But Gaskin, I think his number one kind of attribute that he could bring to this Vikings running back room is his dual threat ability. I think he's a solid pass catcher. I mean, that 2021 season, he had 50 catches. The 2020 season, he had 41 before that. And I think if you look at the Vikings running back room, like you have Alexander Mattison, who's kind of going to be like your bulldozer, kind of your thunder type of running back. Then I think you got Ty Chandler, who's your more like maybe not prototypical running back, but he's more of like the modern day running back where he can kind of do a little bit of everything. He kind of has that pop, he has that speed. He's kind of more well-rounded than Mattison. And then you bring in a guy like Myles Gaskin, where he's more of that receiving threat of a running back. And obviously, Kene Nwangwu is a total gadget guy. But yeah, he does end up joining the Minnesota Vikings here. He's 26 years old, 5'9", 198 pounds, out of the University of Washington. And just pretty interesting that the Vikings decided to bring in another running back following the roster being released yesterday. I honestly was happy that they only brought in 4 running backs, including C.J. Ham, just because, I always think like you don't want to overdo the running back room just because considering you can you can always just pick somebody up middle of the year. Like, I don't really think that's the running backs room where it's like you need a ton of depth necessarily, just because like there are always going to be running backs on the markets. Like, I always think about a couple years ago, like when the Rams had like Todd Gurley, and he was kind of their workhorse, and it was like the first playoff run under Sean McVay and Jared Goff, but they ended up picking up C.J. Anderson like at the latest, or like the late half of the year. Like, I'm pretty sure it could have been like the last week of the year they picked him up, and he ended up running for 100 plus in a playoff game. So a little interesting there that they're going to run now with 5 running backs, and they cut Dwayne McBride. I'll tell you what, just a generalization of where Kwesi's kind of recent moves here, they better work. That's all I got to say. Because, only bringing 8 offensive linemen. You bring 6 safeties. Like, I just feel like Kwesi, maybe he knows something we don't about this offensive line. But, shoot, go sign Dalton Reisner. Like, I feel like he's kind of maybe he's a little on the hot seat here, or maybe we're just kind of waiting to see if it's going to work out. Because I'm still on the side where it's like, I am a believer in Kwesi. Like, first season, they won 13 games. Like, I like the moves he made. And overall, I liked what he did throughout free agency and the draft. Like, obviously, the Vikings were second to last in draft capital, and they had no cap space. He ended up clearing a lot of cap space. He ended up getting faster on defense, which I thought was huge, moving off guys like Eric Kendricks, Patrick Peterson, and you bring in younger cats like, obviously you sign Ivan Pace after the draft, and you bring in a guy like Byron Murphy. So just very interesting moves here from our man Kwesi. We'll see if these end up working out. But signing a running back, I just don't necessarily think that was like a big needle move or a big need for this football team. It's Myles Gaskin. Like, he was just cut from the Dolphins for a reason. Like, and the Vikings, like, it's just a bunch of junkyard dogs in that running back room. Like, there's no ace by any means. It's just a bunch of guys. Like, it's a bunch of dudes that are unproven for the most part. Like, Mattison has a certain stint or has had a certain run here in the league, and same with Gaskin. Like, very similar positions for those two, but they're gonna have to go out this year and prove it, and that's what that group can do. I really do hope, though, it's more of a running back by committee this year. I just think it's going to be better for the Vikings down the stretch of the season. Obviously, if you burn out Alexander Mattison halfway through the year, you got to go to Ty Chandler. I just don't really think that's the best use of your assets. I would rather have it go more running back by committee. Maybe it's Mattison on first, Ty Chandler on second, maybe Myles Gaskin on third. We'll see. I think it's going to come down to see how good Gaskin is in blitz pickup. I think that's going to be huge for him staying on the football field. So we'll see, how he does there. But interesting move, especially the fact that he's on the 53-man roster. Just an interesting move out of the Vikes here. Kwesi's going to have to Kwesi's going to be on the hot seat a little bit if some of these moves don't work out. But, we'll see. I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of signing a running back. I've never really been the biggest, pro running back guy. I always feel like it's a very interchangeable position here in the league. But, they're going to have 5 names now in that backfield. And I've been kind of having this pipeline dream that Ty Chandler would eventually be the full-time RB1, workhorse RB1. It's just not looking like that's going to happen right now. So, Myles Gaskin signs to the Vikings 53-man roster. This is our instant reaction to the news. Interesting move here for Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. We'll see if it ends up, paying off for, our second-year GM. But, yeah, that is the news of the day. Woke up early morning to this news, and I was like, God, the Vikings are signing freaking running back. Why can't it be Dalton Risner? Give me Dalton Risner, and I'll be happy with the move that Kwesi made. But interesting stuff. Interesting stuff here from Kwesi. So, we're just going to see if it ends up working out. Myles Gaskin, if it doesn't work out, you can always cut him. And you can always, sign, Dalton Risner. But maybe they bring him in, see if he can, be effective for the first couple weeks. And you could always cut him mid-year. So, we'll have to see if it works out. So make sure you guys do subscribe, stay in the loop. We're going to be giving you guys a video later today on just some practice squad stuff and all that. So make sure you guys subscribe, lock us in, and we'll see you guys next time. Let's go Vikes.